Before the disintegration of USSR in 1990s, basically there was two world order. One was controlled by the USA and the another was in the hand of USSR. But after the disintegration of USSR in 1990s, the hegemony of the US dominated. Not only dominated in terms of providing security to the other nations, but also in terms of trade, in terms of economic relations, and other various aspects. But now, what we are seeing that the hegemony of the US is getting challenged by whom? Yes, it is China. Okay. And in terms of what? In terms of trade, in terms of investments, in terms of infrastructural projects that China is pushing out. And one of the ambitious Chinese infrastructure project is basically the Belt and Road Initiative. So in today's discussion, we are going to understand the basics of Belt and Road Initiative and how China is trying to dominate the world via these type of infrastructural projects. Hello and welcome you all. Today is 19th of October and we are going to discuss the daily Hindu newspaper analysis. So we will be going to discuss some of the very important articles, okay, that has been published in the Hindu editorial. Along with, we will be going to discuss some of the important prelims sections because UPSC do try to ask these type of questions. That's why we have taken into consideration. So the first article will be related to the Belt and Road Initiative and we will be discussing in a detailed way. Okay. And the second article will be related to explosion of digital uncertainty. Here we will be going to discuss about the risks that are possessing because of the growing artificial intelligence dependency, because it has the power to affect the behavior, the attitude, the emotions of a person. So in the coming times, when the artificial intelligence will take place the role of human intelligence, so you can expect the risks what can be, and even the predictability we cannot determine now. Okay, so in a detailed way we are going to discuss all of that, and for the prelim section we are going to discuss three articles. So if you are liking our initiative, please do like, share and subscribe, and also promote into your friend circle so that more and more students get benefited from these discussions. Okay, and now we are shifting to the prelims questions which are based on the prelims PYQ. Okay, so why we try to take these questions, it is all because you should have an idea that which type of questions get asked, so that you will be aware in catching the pattern of the questions which can be asked in the UPSC in the coming days from the newspaper or from the articles that you read in the basically newspaper or various sources. So you can like solve the question by pausing the video. Okay, the question is ilmenite and rutile abundantly available in certain coastal tracts of India are rich resources of which of the following? Option A, aluminum. Option B, copper. Option C, iron. And option D, titanium. So basically, maybe you may be thinking that you have to learn lots of ores and their associates, but that is not the case. Here, UPSC did had asked about the ores. Maybe you do not know, but you can easily eliminate here if you know the basics that ores of aluminum, ores of the copper, ores of the iron, and if you are well aware, then definitely you can mark the answer. Okay, so that is the point. So you have to be like basic overview and the idea on certain topics and the items so that you can eliminate also. So UPSC do give certain tricks and hacks so that you can identify the gap and try to solve the question. So we will be discussing this question in the last session of our article discussion, and before that you can solve this question and answer in the comment box. Okay, now we are shifting to the mains question discussion, and the question is the explain the structure of parliamentary committee system. How far have the financial committees helped in the institutionalization of Indian Parliament? Remember, this is the question which has been asked in the UPSC GS paper 2, that is the polity section. And in the syllabus, it is better given that you should have an overview about the parliament, overview about the committee, okay, and how these committee basically makes responsible to the executive, okay, like the committee submits various reports to the parliament, okay, and based on that actions should be taken by the government, the reforms should be suggested, okay. So that is the point. So the role of parliamentary committee system becomes very very important, okay, because the legislature itself will not do all the work. There is a need to have a separate team that will do the work. So that comes the role of parliamentary committee, okay. So here you have to explain the structure of the parliamentary committee system. And here there is the second part of the question, that how far the financial committees helped in the institutionalization of the Indian Parliament. So you have to little bit discuss about the financial committees, and then you have to move on the question that has been asked, okay. So you have to solve according to the question, not according to you. According to the question, you need to answer in that way, otherwise there will be a disbalance in the basically question asked and the answer you given. So that is the important point to get correct marks, okay. You should note it down. So now we are shifting to the article discussion, and the first article will be related to the GS paper 2. And first of all, we will be try to understand the basics of BRI, okay, Belt and Road Initiative. This is a grand ambitious project that are being promoted by China. So BRI stands for Belt and Road Initiative, and it aims to connect various nations via the road rail network along with the maritime network. In simple terms, the China want to revive the ancient Silk Road, okay. And tell me little bit about the ancient Silk Road in the comment section. That is also important point, okay. So here you can see the map that via this project they are trying to connect China with various nations, like we have the Mongolia here, along with other Asian nations, Central Asian nations, along with they will go to the Europe as well, okay. And in the maritime Silk Route, you are seeing that they will be connecting the China with Bangladesh here, okay, with Sri Lanka here, along with other various coastal nations, and via the Red Sea they will be covering to the Europe. So you can see the expansion of this project, like they are connecting to the various nations, okay. So that's why this is a very big project for the China, and if successful, China may dominate in terms of trade, in terms of providing the products that these nations want. But that comes with a cost, specifically for the nations who are joining it, because these projects require huge finances, okay. And because of the lack of finances, from where these nations are going to take the finance, basically the loans from the China, okay. China trying to give the loans for these type of projects, but remember that this is called a Chinese debt trap policy. Once the loan has been given, and if it has not been basically paid off, then China will start taking control of the various projects. So that is the point, and that's why various nations were highlighting these concerns. So we will be trying to understand the various perspective. So here is the basics. And Belt and Road Initiative we have talked about, like one is your road and railway section, and the another is your maritime section, okay. So you should understand. And what is the recent context here? The recent context is that the Belt and Road Initiative now completed 10 years, okay. And recently the third Belt and Road Forum was concluded in Beijing which is in China. And remember that various nations do participated here, including the Russian president. Okay, so that is the point, and that is the point you should understand, that how despite that Russia, which is involved in Russian Ukraine war, and didn't basically went out to any other nation, but they are coming closer to the China. Okay, that also indicates one important point. So now when we talk about the significance of BRI project, specifically for the China, so it can be called a Chinese Marshall Plan, and it can be a gateway for the China to become a global power with a comprehensive strength. And also, via this project, China tries to reboot the globalization. Because when we talk about globalization, what does it mean? Like connecting various countries with the different countries. That is, in simple terms, integration of economies. So China want to basically improve the globalization in terms of Chinese benefit. So that is the point. Along with to secure its trade and transport network via building alternative to a Strait of Malacca. When we talk about a Strait of Malacca, where does it lies? It is basically here. You can see in the Southeast Asian nation. Here it is the Strait of Malacca, and this is a very important choke point. Okay, for the China, because all the goods basically that comes from this region to the China, that goes from this strait, so that becomes important. But here China always fear that if there is a tussle between China and the US or the other countries, that means this track may get blocked, so Chinese trade may get affected. That's why they are building another alternative, and the BRI will getting to benefit the China, specifically in this manner. Okay, so hope you understood all these. And also the AIIB, like which was established by China and having the capital of $100 billion, would also enable the Chinese president to harvest early gains of the BRI. How? Because they are giving loans via this bank, and they needed to repay the loan via interest. So definitely, if some country are taking loans from this bank for the establishment of infrastructure of the BRI, that means they have to repay the loans, and repay the loan meaning they have to repay the interest as well. So in simple terms, China is getting benefited in from all the dimensions. Along with, now China is promoting local currency, okay, with various nations. So that indicates that China is building economic order centered around China itself. Okay, so they are trying to disintegrate the role of other developed country from here in terms of economic order, and they are trying to promote itself at the global level. So that is the point which needs to be understood. So whether this project is accepted by the global world or not, well, the evidence suggests yes. How? Like the Chinese government white paper on BRI released this month. In this report, it revealed that over 200 BRI cooperation pacts has been inked with over 150 nations, that highlight that yes, various nations are accepting this. Okay, and not only that, the two-way investment between China and the partner countries from 2013 to 2022 touched about $380 billion. That means not only they are basically getting interested in this project, but trade and investment are also promoting between them. So what China is trying to do is to fill up the massive infrastructural deficit, and not only the deficit but also the issue of accessibility and availability of various public goods, which was not available to various nations because of the inequality in the distribution. But now they are getting promoted and delivered by the China. So Chinese role here become rising again. So that is the point. And when we talk about the global infrastructure gap, so China is utilizing this global infrastructure gap, and they are trying to fill it up via its ambitious project, that is the Belt and Road Initiative. And you can see the issue: because of the global infrastructure gap, people in various nations, specifically in the developing and the underdeveloped nation, they are not able to get the desired products. They are not able to get the electricity, the water, and many more things. This is the data here, you can read it. Okay. And to bridge this infrastructural gap, there is a need to have a capital infusion of 1.5 trillion dollar on an annual basis through 2030. This has been quoted by World Bank actually. So via this Chinese Marshall Plan, they are trying to give benefits via this initiative, like ensuring power plants, ports development, railway network, digital infrastructure. So indirectly, China will also getting benefited, okay, from these nations, because these nations requires all of these, and China is providing all of these. That means the dependency on China will be rising as compared to these nations. So that is the point you need to understand. Now, does everything is going well? Well, the ground realities is different. How the ground realities is different? A report from the IAS Ishaq Institute on the BRI has highlighted that after the implementation of these projects in various nations, what the nations are facing, like they are facing ecological damage, because this is huge infrastructural projects that requires deforestation, cutting of the trees, displacement of the people, okay, along with disputes over the payouts and the labor unrest, because sometimes we also hear that Chinese laborers are replacing the local laborers in these type of projects. That means the dispute will be getting rise, so everything is not good. That's why various nations withdrawn from this project as well. Okay, so that is the point. And we can also take the case study as well, like the case study of Indonesia. When we talk about Indonesia, here Chinese laborers filling up the positions unmarked for the locals. So the Chinese laborers is replacing the locals here. And in Laos, basically, despite we have the super fast trains and infrastructural dam projects getting built over the Mekong River, but this is causing displacement of the people and drier conditions because of the dam built up, and also lack of compensation to these people. Okay, and you can say, you can understand that basically Laos, which is a Southeast Asian nation, they owes China around 12.2 billion dollar as a debt. That means about 65% of its GDP. So remember the dependency of Laos over China in terms of economy. So that means that this is going to affect the economic relations, social relations, or the political relations between the Laos and the China. That is the important point. And when we talk about the China Pakistan economic corridor, basically this corridor is a part of bigger project, that is your BRI, and that aims to connect China with the Pakistan and the Pakistan's Gwadar port. Okay, so when we talk about China and Pakistan relations, so their relations are deep. In fact, much deeper in case of China, Pakistan, deeper than the ocean. However, when we talk about some of the reports, like Pakistani legislative report, they said that the Gwadar port, which has been developed with the help of help, Chinese aid. So here, the profit that the China is getting, the share the China is getting is 91%, and remaining 9% is going to the Pakistan. So how it is well with respect to the Pakistan with in terms of these revenue? Okay, so for the Pakistan, it is not a win-win cooperation, but for China, it is double win-win cooperation. So that is the point which needs to be understood. And when we talk about what other nations are doing, like China is building such a massive infrastructure project, challenging the hegemony of the US and its allies. That means these nations will not keep their mouth shut. So they are trying to provide alternatives to these projects, like we have the United States Japan infrastructure investment alternatives in the Indo-Pacific region, along with Build Back Better World initiative that aims to channelize private capital into climate change and energy security, healthcare, and various dimensions. And what has India's stand? So India, since the start of this project, had opposed this project. Why opposed its project? Because of the sovereignty related issue, because the China Pakistan economic corridor passes through Indian territory, so that challenges our sovereignty, okay, along with unsustainable debt concerns, because China gives huge loans for these infrastructure projects, and if the country are not able to repay, then they make agreements, and that means the control over the projects are taken by the China. And at the G20 summit, another alternatives was proposed, like India Middle East Europe corridor that will link India with the West Asia and the Europe through railway and the shipping lines. So we are doing the initiatives as well. Okay, but only time will tell that what the outcome of this project will be. But like in fact, China is also worried about the economic worries related to debt and unemployment that nations are raging. So how China will deal with it remains to be seen. So we have discussed the basics and also analyze that what is the significance of these projects for the China, and does everything is going well, and if yes, then why nations are withdrawing. So that is the point we need to understand with various angles. So hope you understand this discussion in detail. And now we have a question to you, okay? Imagine that China had now a control over the world. Okay, now China is basically the world hegemony. So what the impact you can see in the global world? Try to imagine. Okay, so that is the point. And what will be the US reaction? Try to analyze it. Try to answer it in the comment section so that your thinking power will become more and more, and you can analyze the topic in a detailed way. Now we are shifting to the second article, the world of artificial intelligence. It will be coming under the GS paper 3. Okay, so when we talk about the artificial intelligence, we have discussed lots of article about artificial intelligence, like the basics, that what do you mean by artificial intelligence. It simply means that giving machines the thinking power, okay, like acting autonomous, like acting independent. So what a humans can do, if the robots or the machines are able to do like the thinking process and acting in an autonomous manner, that means this is the world of artificial intelligence. But in today's world, the artificial intelligence is in the beginning phase, but in the coming times, like 22nd, 23rd, 24th century, the world will be dominated by artificial intelligence. Maybe it becomes more superior than human intelligence. So that is the prediction, but that predictions comes with challenges and risks as well, because what we are seeing, that this is very very beneficial, this will be helpful, this will aid in our work, but this may also challenge the human existence, we have discussed in the previous lecture. So when we talk about important revolution in the 18th and 21st century, so on the 18th century, you can see that industrial revolution was the biggest revolution here. And in the 21st century, you can say that the digital revolution was the biggest revolution, when the internet like penetrated in the global world, and the world of artificial intelligence started to work with it. Okay, so that is the point. So in the digital revolution, the more advanced form of it, basically the artificial intelligence, and in the coming times, the world will progress to shift towards general artificial intelligence. And when we talk about general artificial intelligence, it means that these artificial intelligence machines will be capable or will be more superior than the human as well. Okay, so due to the fascination, the world is getting attracted towards it. And when we talk about the world, it includes the government as well, it includes the businesses as well, it includes the public like you and me as well. So that is the point. But it comes with risks, it comes with uncertainty, it comes with various challenges. Okay, and we do have a very scant understanding about the implications. That's why we are more indulging in the development, in the progress of AI, but we are not able to analyze its impact. So here we will be trying to understand some of the deeper impact that artificial intelligence in the coming times may possesses. Okay, so first of all, there will be an exponential explosion of digital uncertainty. Digital uncertainty meaning you are not known about what may happen in the future, what may happen in the digital world. Okay, there can be the spread of misinformation, there can be a spread of disinformation, and even that you are watching social media videos, messages, all of that, it may change your social perspective, your behavioral perspective, your attitudinal perspective. This is the phase of digital uncertainty, because you will be controlled by the machines, the information that will be sent by the machines. So that is the point. Okay, so the digital infrastructure is based on the layer of machine learning, software, hardware, and that begets vulnerability. When we talk about an example, let's say I have a robot, okay, and I have trained the robot that please do not like girl. Okay, so I have trained it. So whenever the robot will meet a girl, that robot will not respond to that girl in a correct way. The behavior toward that girl of this robot will not be good. In fact, the machine can spread disinformation about that girl. Okay, so the perspective of different people may get changed. So when we are talking about like various language models, we are seeing that chat gpt, या फिर the google bard. So actually these are working on the principles, the informations and the data which are sent into them. So what the data which is being sent into them, the outcome will be like that. Okay, if we are sending the data like gender inequality, then the outcome will also be about gender inequality. So you need to understand about the basic, that is the machine learning. Okay, and that are going to affect our behavior, action, emotions. Okay, and even what they can destabilize the powerful institution, that is the government, news media. Okay, so that increases the role of non-state actors in disturbing the stability of the society, the polity or the economy. Okay, and what ultimately it is going to cause, it is the loss of trust. To whom you can trust, maybe the call you may get will be having the voice of our prime minister, but actually it is the voice of artificial intelligence machine. So whom you will believe? So there will be an increase in the trust deficit, and it will also degrade the government capability to deal with it. So that is the point. And the second important risk will be the business vulnerability. How you can understand why important context, like about one third companies in the developed nation putting their assets in the intangible form rather than physical one. Intangible form like in the digital format, like in the servers. Okay, we are putting our card details, we are putting our personal details into the servers, into the social media. So basically the artificial intelligence via data mining may analyze all that information and try to alter our behavior by giving such idea, by giving our posts, okay, by giving video recommendations like you are seeing on the YouTube platform. Okay, what is your behavior, what is your attitude, similar type of videos or the audios is getting delivered to you. So that will also be in the case of businesses as well. And here you can understand that the businesses now shifting towards cloud computing, they are storing their data in the server. So the artificial intelligence via sensors, data mining processes may affect the quality of the data, okay, and that may also affect the businesses. So here direct risks of artificial intelligence, and in the future we are moving towards world order from digital uncertainty to the radical uncertainty. And also rise of misinformation, disinformation via manipulation of information is very fast in the world of artificial intelligence and in the world of the social media, and that may cause the truth to decay, that we call as truth decay. So that is the point. And this is not sufficient. When we will shift to the world of artificial general intelligence, artificial general intelligence means the artificial intelligence machines now got the power similar or superior to the human. So the problem start from there, and what will be the impact, do not know, but we can predict the impact, okay, the positive impact or the negative impact. But here we are discussing about the negative impact. In the coming times, dependency on the artificial intelligence by the people is increasing. We are being integrated into the digital scenario via internet, okay, we are accessing information, we are accessing video, we are accessing many more things. So that means dependency will be going to rise, and that means if there is a biasness in the artificial intelligence, that may cause the psychological biasness in the thinking aspect, okay. So that may also cause the social and economic inequality, and that will ultimately lead to social anarchy and overturning the trust pyramid. So in the coming future, the digital data will be converted into digital intelligence, where the machines, the artificial intelligence will put like intelligence on our behavior, on our emotions, and based on that they may deliver content, they may deliver ideas on based on the behavior, okay. And this may also shift the geopolitical balance of power, and we can call it as a digital colonization. Because let's say we are providing data like I like pizza, okay, so the data will be getting toward the artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence will analyze, okay, he likes pizza, okay. So that means the content of the pizza will start reflecting in your advertisement, okay. And based on that the machines will suggest various recommendations to you. So that is the point, and this we can refer as like old East India Company but in the digital form. What this company was aimed at, that he were trying to take out the raw materials from the colonized nations, and then they wanted to deliver the manufactured products, processed products to these nations, okay. So here the artificial intelligence will also act as digital colonization, where the raw data will be extracted by these machines, and based on the interest feedback they will deliver that content or the product to the nations. So that is the digital colonization, hope you understood. And even the recent conflict we have seen in the Israel Hamas, okay, so there is a statement that the Israel was not able to protect their citizens from the rocket attack. To whom we can make it responsible? It is basically due to the intelligence failure. And when we talk about Israel's artificial intelligence actually, so here the Israel's security defense is very tight, but despite of that there was intelligence failure, and that led to the death of so many people in Israel. So what we can say, that Even there is a story that Hamas utilized this flaw, this weakness of Israel's intelligence, and they send false information to their basically communication department, and artificial intelligence analyzed in a wrong way, and that given an edge to the Hamas to attack without Israel's decoding of the information. So that is the point, and thus we can learn a lesson that over dependence on the artificial intelligence and belief in its invincibility could prove to be an catastrophic. So don't be 100% trusted, because machines are machines. Okay, so there may be a chance of error. That is the point, and there may be a chance of biasness. So that is the point. We have discussed the article in detail. Hope you understood. Now we are shifting to the short discussion that is for the prelims purpose. The first article, it is related to the MQ-9B drones. So 31 MQ-9B drones will be bought from the USA by India, and the agreement is going on, and maybe the agreement will be finalized in Feb 2024, and the delivery of these drones will start from 2027 onwards. Okay, so what is the importance of these drones? Like, they will increase the surveillance in the border areas, and that will strengthen our security and will protect our sovereignty. Okay, and that also indicates that our relation with the US is more deepening, okay, than the earlier times. So you need to have an understand of it. So that is the point for the print purpose. Remember that the question became MQ-9B. Sometimes sharing news is related to what? It is basically UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle or unmanned aerial drone. You can see it, okay? And you can see the image here. It is like an aeroplane, but here the people will not sit, okay? So that is the point. Now we are shifting to the next article, India to explore on the large language models. So in the recent times, you have seen the examples. Maybe you have utilized about the Chat GPT, Google Bard, Lambda, okay, or the other language models. So what are these language models? Basically, the information which are present in the internet, that information is collected, and these are given and processed in a centralized way by the machines, okay, and based on that they try to give you answers of the questions in a human form. Maybe you have used the chat GPT. If not, try to use it. Tell ask what the UPSC can frame questions on the topic like artificial intelligence. Then they will try to provide you series of questions the UPSC can ask. So this is basically the concept of large language models. So because of the increasing importance of LLM, India is also trying to explore the LLM, but the major focus will be how our language should be designed and be adopted to the LLM, that is your large language model, and for that committee is being set up, okay. But for that we need also the finances, because the research needs finance and also some of the technology. So here the US is trying to collaborate with us. They may try to fund these projects. So in the coming times we will be seeing that India made LLM may come, okay. But before that come, we uses the chat GPT and other, okay. So that is the point. Now we are shifting to the another topic, that is the appointment of the high court judges. So like the news is, center notifies appointment of 17 judges across 8 high court. So remember that when we talk about the appointment of the high court judge or the Supreme Court judge, it is basically done by the president, but the president has not the sole authority Why? Because there is a base of recommendations. Actually, there is a collegium system, and what does collegium system means? There will be the head of the Supreme Court of India, that is the CJI, Chief Justice of India, along with some other judges, depending on whether the judges of Supreme Court is getting to be recommended or the judges of High Court. Okay, so if the judges of High Court, that means High Court judge will also be in the collegium system. So that is the point. And based on that, they try to provide recommendations of the judges, the list of the judges, and they are given to the government. Okay, so government then analyzes the names, and then based on the analyze, they refer to the president to appoint that. So that is the procedure for the appointment of the High Court judge or the Supreme Court judge. But remember that even the appointment of High Court judge or the Supreme Court judge is done by the president. Okay, so don't confuse that it can be done by the governor. So here you need to be understand in a detailed way. Hope you understood this topic. Now we are shifting to another, that is the last, that is the questions of the prelims that we have discussed in the initially. Okay, so basically the ilmenite and the rutile is the ore of titanium. Okay, and titanium is used for which purpose? Basically for the basically civil nuclear purpose, civil nuclear program, you can say. Okay, and how you can eliminate that? We know that aluminum, the ore is bauxite. Okay, copper, cuprite, iron, the magnetite, hematite. Maybe you may know the basics. Okay, and if you know, then definitely you can decode that the ABC will not be the right answer, the answer will be D. Okay, so that is the point. You do not need to remember all of that, but you need to understand the ore of aluminum, copper, iron, zinc. These are the basic things that are given in the book. Okay, and one more clue which has been given in this question is like they are available in certain coastal tracts. So in the coastal tracts, basically when we talk about in Kerala, then these type of minerals do find here. Okay, but when we talk about aluminum, copper, iron, these are mainly in the interior, like in the Chota Nagpur plateau. Okay, and when we talk about copper in the Rajasthan, so that is the point you can also decode. That's why UPSC is given certain another clue to identify. So that is the end of the article. Hope you understood in great detail. And here it has been given the ore, some of the list you can remember, like when we talk about aluminium, it is a bauxite, kaolin. Okay, and when we talk about iron, it is about hematite, magnetite, siderite, iron pyrite. And when we talk about copper, it is copper pyrites, malachite, cuprite, copper glands. When we talk about zinc, it is zinc blend, calamine, and zincite. And you not need to remember the formula basically. So you can download the PDF from our Telegram. Hope you enjoyed our lecture series. We will be coming again with the sorts of good articles. And thank you, friends. Thank you very much.